Conversation with myself like this better work. That's why I get peace of myself almost every verse. I spent my whole life grinding, I ain't asked for help. I used to starve as a kid, I had to feed myself. Remember all the hard times we kept trying, and we rise and we fall. The times we had to walk, now we stay flying. Now we grind till we ball.
This song's such a vibe.
Bro, thank you. Like, it feels like a crush. Yeah. So like, why would I only make rap if, you know?
Mm-hmm. If it's in you, it's in you.
I can still spit if I want to.
Yeah.
Clubs, Mike Tyson fight nights. Never hit up, but what I give her make a night. But that don't make it right. We need something deeper than your surface. Or cervix, a soul reaper. You don't think we could love? I'd make you a believer. Even if we gotta start as small as an amoeba, make me see you levitate, babe. Do a leaper, let's do a leap of faith. Hey, straight into the ethers. Fingers in my fingers, only one thing we could think of. You looking like the truth boo, and I'm a truth seeker. Let's do a duet. I let you feature. Pull up to the studio, no makeup, I love your features. Baby, boo, I like the letter B, cause you as sweet as a honeybee. Let me be a beekeeper. You out here, I'm scared, I'm TVG, the cheapest creepers. How about a protector, respecter, stress reliever? Sweet as some stevia, feel as good as some sativa. Needless to say, I need you, so tell me when I can see ya.
Welcome to another episode of Artist to Artist at the AV Club. It's your boy West Side, and I'm here with a special guest today.
The name is Shad Fer, S-H-A-D space F-E-R from the Bahamas, and we here locking it in. The festival today, there's this other Bahamian artist. His name is Sleepy Lax, super talented.
Sleepy Lax?
Yeah, he's super talented, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he saw me and he's like, bro, why you look so fresh? And I'm like, because I know who I am.
Yeah.
And that's literally it. Like, people want to be a superhero. They want to be a superstar. They want to be this big thing similar to the people they idolize. But then when it's time to wear the crown, they're afraid to wear it. How you a king and you afraid to wear your crown? Like, me, I don't need the numbers. I don't need the clout. I don't need the validation from the outside before I give it to myself. I know who I am. I love who I am, and so there's a little element of fear that comes with owning that. And I understand that to go out in public and dress exactly how you want to dress, say exactly what you want to say, and do that with zero remorse. Everyone can't do that, but that's exactly why when we see certain celebrities or musicians or actors, we see their fashion senses, we see what they do on stage, what they're willing to do in movies, and we judge them for that. But it's that willingness to stand out that made them who they are.
Yeah, it's a part of them. It's the reason why you even notice them or, look out for what they got going on, because, they don't walk the same line as everybody else. They walk a different line.
Bro, Prince was wearing a thong and some boots.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the biggest artists, they walk that different line, like a Tyler the Creator.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Tyler is very different from anybody that I've ever seen musically.
But he's so interesting, bro. Like, he's interesting because when I first saw Odd Future come up, right? Yeah. Despite the shock factor things, like him eating the roach or them performing in churches and doing all that stuff, I think people were missing out on the branding, the aesthetic things, like the way Tyler dresses, like the color palettes, and even beginning with the Gulf Wang clothing line. Like, I don't know how much ownership he had in that, but I always thought that was so smart that from the second, because they were like 18 and teenagers and stuff, to attach all that fandom from the cult following to merchandising like that, to the point where you go to skate shops and you see in the socks with the donuts.
You walk
and the
in
cats
and they got it all on the shelves. Yeah.
Like, I always thought of that as so genius, and now you hear his music now, and it's much more focused and much more mature. And now you understand why he calls himself Tyler the Creator. Like,
Yeah.
you get it.
It's different in the sense of like, you know, a lot of people judge them based off of how weird they were, right?
Mhm.
They're just like, oh, these guys are so weird. You know what I mean? And they didn't realize that in itself was something marketable.
Mhm.
Like, you being weird means you're completely different than everything else that's going on. That's why we shine that light on you and say, yo, that's weird,
Yeah.
right? But to say that's weird means you're paying attention.
Now, in defense
Right.
of the people, he did eat a roach.
Yeah, that is weird. You know what I'm saying? But in some countries, that's a delicacy.
Yeah, man.
So I wouldn't eat a roach.
He puked it out, though.
Yeah,
So-
I wouldn't do it. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's branding and marketing in a sense. Because to say
yeah.
it's weird means you're paying attention to call it weird,
Yeah.
right? And at the end of the day, if we're all looking to get on that next level as an artist, you're looking for attention.
Yeah.
You're looking for the views and the people to seek out your music to say, yo, I value what he does.
Mhm.
You know, they got called weird for years.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And now look at all of them.
Yeah.
Every single one is shining
Exactly.
in their own light and own lane. They're not even sitting together still. They're all doing their own thing now.
Exactly. And
From Earl Sweatshirt to Tyler to Frank Ocean.
yeah, Sid.
You know what I mean? Sid, everybody went their own ways, and they're all successful on their own right.
Yeah, and hopefully with that they're content, because the next side of that whole doing weird things is, as you mature as an artist, you're like, see, when you were a kid and you really, really want to blow up,
Yeah.
you willing to say yeah to anything, especially if someone's older or richer or they have what you think you want.
Resources, things like that. Yeah.
They say you need to do this and you just listen, you just trust them automatically.
Mhm.
Or you're willing to do things far outside of what you originally planned to in order to get success. And as you get older, you'd hope you become mature enough to learn how to say no and learn what's worth saying no to. Like me, I'm willing to do some weird things, but weird within my parameter of weird. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't mind. Like, people are gonna see someone like me, like when they think of Shad Fer, right? They, especially in the Bahamas, they know they might see me climb up on a table in an Italian restaurant and do some screamo, hip hop stuff. But then at the same time, I'd be playing a guitar and singing on a kid's show and everything with the nicest smile and everything. And that's my parameter of weird, because I'm willing to do that. But when you see people start to do things that really don't sit right and sit well within their soul, and it goes against who they truly are as a person, that's when I consider it truly weird. Like, when I see people doing stuff that's out of the ordinary, but it's them, that's cool.
Yeah,
but
it's
when
just
you're actually compromising who you want to be as a person for
yeah.
the sake of some clout, bro, like,
Yeah.
that's when you lost it.
And I think there's a lot of people that's out here that's running towards it and willing to do anything. It's getting to the point now, like, I've seen these videos, right? And it's not necessarily music, but just YouTubers, let's say, right? And there's this girl, and, you know, shout out to her. She's made it successful in her own right and on her YouTube channel. But what she does is she basically approach people and talk to them aggressive, like she's going to beat them up or something. And then when they're about to strike her, she says, it's a prank, it's a prank, it's a prank. It's a video, and tries to get them to stop, and she's running to get away from them in order to avoid getting hurt. Well, I saw a video recently where she approached this guy, he in the hood, and I don't know if she could tell, but I could see the gun on his waist. So she's doing the same thing to him. Oh, what you doing in my hood? Or, you know, oh, put that black and mild out. Or, oh, you know, like talking to him crazy. He's like, yo, leave me alone. And like, he even, like, you know, flinched at her, and she still kept going.
Oh, man.
And I'm just like, oh, what the hell? And it got to the point where he pulled it out and fired in the sky, and she ran, and she's like, it's a prank, it's a prank, it's a prank. But it's like, yo, how far are you willing to take it to where it's no longer a prank?
And the dumb thing is that I'm sure after it all happened, on one hand, she may have had some friends or a team to say, look, that was crazy, that was dangerous, like, we can't be doing that. But in the back of her head, because
she's like, looking the views,
she's
and
like,
the
oh
clicks.
yeah, we gotta post this.
Yeah.
This is going up and stuff. But like, that's one of those signs where it's like, you almost put your life on the line. You do have to scale it back. And at the end of the day, what is it really worth? Like, are you actually getting sponsored for this? Are you selling these things, or are you just getting famous for something for something stupid, bro?
Yeah, that's true. And to double back on the our future stuff, I think the reason why they're so successful now is because they spent years being called weird to the point where you can't put a label on them and they can do whatever they want. And some of the best things they've made have been completely outside the box, like Tyler the Creator, Igor album. Like when you hear Igor, it's like nobody was listening to that thinking this is hip hop. It's completely off the wall, different sounds, different tones of voice and singing and melodic, and he's rapping on it too. And it's like if he came out and he was just this rappy rapper that was like, yeah, I'm tough, I'm this, I'm that, and the third, and which he did do like some grit rap at one point, but the outside stuff that he was doing outside of that was more of the this is weird, or being creative in his own way. So that gave him the lane and the room to do that, to where we can just accept the art rather than judging the person based off of the art.
What's even interesting is, like, I was thinking about that Yonkers video where he ate the roach, and I was thinking about the fact that he didn't even, he wasn't dressing or acting like a standard rapper either. He was wearing like one of those dad caps with like a Hawaiian type of shirt or something like that. And then even with, see, the thing is, they've been called weird, but it's always been attached to a project or something they've been creating. For example, they even took the weirdness and then channeled it into Loiter Squad. And Loiter Squad is something I wish would have got more seasons, because it was good, man. Like, it was just black jackass, and I'm with it. I'm with it.
Pretty much, yeah. It was very similar improv in a sense, like skits and stuff like that. And it was great. Adult Swim aired it. I believe that's where it aired.
Yeah.
It had success.
Like two or three seasons and stuff like that.
But, that gave them room. And as a matter of fact, when I first started, I tried doing different kind of sounds and styles of music. One, because I was trying to figure out my sound. I didn't necessarily know what type of artist I wanted to be, but I knew that I didn't want to be limited based off of someone looking at me and say, you should just only rap like this, right? So I made a whole first project, different styles of beats that I'm rapping on, to where I was just so dedicated to not being boxed in. But one of the things that I did learn that I needed to do was to figure out my sound, though, right? Because you can create all these different sounds, but if you don't have your signature sound, it's like, where does the fan base grow from? You might have a fan base for this song, you might have a fan base for this song over here, and a fan base for this song over here, but where's the foundation? You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting too, especially with the kind of artist I am, because admittedly I'm eclectic, man, and like I can't help it, because I view the industry, and it's been like this for a while, I view the music business, that's a part of my art too. I love the business of music. I love realizing, okay, I made this song, how could I attach it to these different sources of income? Because that's what thinking like a label is. It's realizing that the music itself is great, and the music is a product, but as far as the industry goes, the music is almost at the bottom in terms of how valuable the product is, the sound itself. But the things you attach the sound to, that's where the money is, right?
Yeah.
And so when I make, for example, a pop song, right? If I make a pop song and it has this catchy part, realistically speaking, for example, in my country, in the Bahamas, I have this song called Save Yourself. Save Yourself is a funk song. We used to call it the Prince song when I was working on it in the studio, because it's reminiscent of Prince. And it plays on pop radio all the time in the Bahamas, right? But not a lot of people know it's me. And they don't know it's me because if you were to tell them, oh, that's just some random white band or something like that, they'd believe that. But it opens an avenue for a certain kind of market that I could target with that. It allows me into certain doors and into certain buildings that I could then bring the other music in with as well. But then at the same time, being in the Bahamas, we have events that cater towards soca, reggae, dancehall. So in other words, when I make that kind of music, I could get booked for those kind of events much more than if I just rap, or especially if I was to do the pop song.
Yeah.
But the pop song is streaming the best. The dancehall music is getting me booked the most, but then the hip hop music is getting me respect from people who understand that I'm a lyricist. And so I completely get it. Don't get me wrong. It's a standard thing for people to say, find your core sound and stick to it and build from there. But then at the same time, I think it's more important to have a message and a brand. And then also, if you choose to do other sounds, you gotta respect what that genre was built from. Like, you gotta know the history. So I don't work in genres that I don't feel I understand musically, because it is just music, bro.
Yeah.
There is no rules to it. And to be honest, I'll tell you the truth. And a lot of people not afraid to say this, but they won't admit it. Your sound don't matter if it's a hit, bro. Like, it don't. If it's a hit, whether it's a country song, a pop song, an R&B song, a rap song, if it's a hit, it's a hit. Sometimes what happens, though, is if people are expecting something from you and it's too far left, they may not want to accept that hit from you, which happens to a lot of artists, and it's better for them to give that to another person. But if you deliver it right and you present it right, a hit song is a hit song. It's a hit song. A hit song washes away all your sins. That's how how I see it. Anything going wrong with you in the industry that you can't get locked up forever for, drop a hit song. It'll wash away all your sins. Yeah. That's how I see it.
No, that's facts. That's facts. So like in the beginning of you doing music, right? What was the first song that you made? Because I know you said you dabble in the pop, you dabble in the rap, you dabble in the soca and the different type of vibes. But like, what was the first song that you made? What genre was that one?
That's kind of hard to say, because like I've been writing music. I feel like I remember myself writing since I was like 4 or 5 years old. And then I've been performing on stage and singing since I was like 9. And that's like documented, but I started to record my own music when I was 14. I got my own mic. Shout out to Audio Technica AT2020. Here's some Audio Technicas here, right? Oh man, I gotta shut that. AT2020 is about 12 to 14 years old. And I started with that, and that's the mic that got me on World Star. That's the mic that got me money from recording jingles and voice acting and all that stuff. And so with that $120 mic, like, it paid itself back over and over. And I would start rapping, like finding as much beats as I could. But then as a music artist, especially since I always used to write the hooks and write melodic things, it was more about what kind of production I could get my hands on that would determine what I would do. And then I started to play instruments myself. So it started with hip hop, like, because hip hop was the first genre I learned how to dive super deeply into. Like, I became a true hip hop head. Like, from the new school to the old school. And a lot of people say that, but they don't really mean it. Like, I'm deep in it. I'm deeply into the genre. But then I started to do it for other genres. Now, I had my first moment on World Star Hip Hop when I was 14 because of that AT2020. Like, found my favorite beats, freestyle on it, dropped it on Facebook. No one cared. Even to this day, I think that Facebook post has like 16 likes. Yeah. Yet me and my boy, shout out ASF Twills. Shout out Twills. He sent that to World Star. I sent it to World Star, and the next day they actually posted it, because this was the real era of the internet. You know, like World Star.
Shout out to World Star. Shout out to World Star.
This was big, bro. This was so big. And so people knew me as a rapper from then, because I don't just rap, but I rap. Like, I could spit, and because I could like spit, especially at 14, people were very surprised and taken aback. But from there, between 14 and 16, I started to dabble in all genres: alternative music, R&B music, pop. Like, it all branched out, because I want to be one of the greatest music artists of all time. That's the goal. And I understand the level of dedication, sacrifice, and how realistic you got to be about that to have that kind of goal. But for me, that means no genre is restricted as long as I feel it.
Yeah.
And so I'd say I was singing gospel in church when I was 9, but as far as what I was writing, it would be a rap verse with maybe a R&B or a pop hook, those kinds of things. Yeah.
Okay. So like when it comes to hip hop, like who introduced you to hip hop? Like what was the first artist that you came across that you grasped to hip hop?
Well, I say shout out to my cousins, especially like, see, because in the Bahamas is a chain of islands. And so I would go to Eleuthera. Eleuthera is where half of my family is from. It's this beautiful, beautiful island. And we'd link up there at least twice a year, and I'd be with my cousins. And my cousins, you know when you got older cousins,
yeah,
like, they don't care they don't care how young you is, they don't care about
they playing all the cuss
playing
words.
all of that. So we was listening to a lot of 50 Cent, a lot of Eminem, especially my friends in school. They put me on the Eminem at like when I was like 11 or 12, right? And Eminem was critical for me to learn the technical side of rap, like multi-syllable rhyming, double entendres and stuff like that. So I was deeply, at first, just from a learning standpoint, into Eminem, but then my cousin, his name is TJ, shout out TJ.
Shout out TJ.
No, for real, shout out T, because he lives in Miami, right? And so I'd visit Miami, and he'd put me on to like the real underground, like he put me on like MF Doom.
Oh,
and so
okay.
I started listening to Doom, and this is I'm like 13, 12, listening to some Doom, and I listen to albums. I don't just listen to singles. I like, if I find an artist, I gotta hear your full album. So I've listened to, I can't count how many albums I've listened to, like hundreds if not thousands. And so like I started with Doom, but then I started digging deeper. So like, of course, like Nas, Lauryn Hill, like seriously though, like Cool G Rap, The Far Side.
I love Far Side too.
Yeah, me too, bro. Like just my goal is always to, especially even these days when I listen to albums, I sift through anything that sounds like mediocre. Because some people, they endure something that just sounds okay. I look for whoever has the best thing going on, and I listen to that. Like, for example, rap-wise, I've been listening to a lot of Black Thought from The Roots, because, like, even though he ain't the most popular in terms of his name coming up a lot, I hear top-tier rapping when, and that's what I need as an artist. And then my cousin TJ, he also put me on the Kendrick Lamar, but like early. Like, people say, these days they're like, yeah, man, I've been a Kendrick fan day one. Like, some people might say since Good Kid. Some people might say since Section 80. No, I've been a fan since the Kendrick Lamar EP. Like, when he changed his name from K-Dot to Kendrick Lamar. And then I listened all the way back. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you could put it on wax, me saying this, man. K-Dot, like, if you go further back in the mixtapes, K-Dot was alright. That's the mediocre stuff I could sift through. But once he changed to the Kendrick Lamar,
he embraced it.
The whole point of that rebranding was him saying, I don't have to be like these other rappers. I could be myself. Kendrick Lamar has something to say. And even him, it's just a combination of a lot of Andre 3000. Like, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe sounds like an Outkast song. A lot of course, you could hear the Eminem influence, the Lil Wayne influence, and then the rest of the West Coast. Like, it all comes together. I was listening to J. Cole very early, but just digging, bro. Like, just digging for so many different kinds of sounds, following all the blogs, finding artists that weren't popping, but if they were good to me, they were good. And so, like, Griselda early on, like, bro, I'd have to go on my Spotify just to talk about how much artists I've listened to. But I try to keep as tapped in as possible in all genres, though, not just hip hop, just everything.
That was my thing too. Starting out just when I was just listening to music, I always would look for music. I wasn't a person to just sit back and someone put me on, hey, this is this artist, and now I listen to this artist. I would go on Dat Piff, Live Mixtapes, different platforms. World Star Hip Hop, I found artists on there, and I would go on these platforms and I would look for new artists. One of the things that I also do is, like, I like to skim through a project. Like, I'll listen to it because you'll be surprised the songs you find, right? So, for example, one of my favorite groups is the Migos. And if you're a real Migos fan and you listen to their music for real, you know, some of the best songs is at the bottom of the project.
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You hear songs like Struggle, you
The
know.
album cuts.
Yeah, it's like the ones, you know, they got the commercial ones, or the ones that they know, like, you know, all right, they're going to gravitate to this. But, you know, I feel like towards the bottom, those might be the ones that, you know, they might love the most or whatever, you know, because
those for the real fans.
Yeah. So,
for sure.
So I like skimming through projects and finding gold mine songs and just feel, I could play this over and over. I like this more than the single.
And as an artist, no, trust me, like that makes you feel so special on the other end of it, like, because that's the perspective of the listener. But when you're the artist and you meet the people who aren't talking about the one everyone knows, and they're like, yo, that one, track number 16, that interlude, bro. Like I listen, like even for me, I got a song called Atlanta Interlude, right? It's just this 1 minute, 36 second. You heard that?
To it. Yeah, I listened to it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I listened to it.
Shout out to you, man. Like I just made a music video for it, right? And this music video looks like a movie. It's gonna be crazy. Like I got a very beautiful woman who shall not be named at the moment, just showing me so much love in the video. And my boy, right, one of my best friends, shout out Charo the Fox, right? It's my brother. He said, you know what's crazy about you shooting this music video, Shad? This is literally one of those songs on the album where people don't really talk about it, but they'll run it all the time. And the fact that you choosing to give this a music video is really gonna speak to the core people, you know, who they appreciate an artist who, you know, like your core audience appreciates when you give them those little things, because it's like, oh wow, at least I know this artist cares about this thing.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'm a big Kendrick fan at this point, and he has a song on his album called Feel on the Damn album. And Feel is like one of those deep cuts. And so if he were to do anything with that, which he isn't at this point, but I like that, I'm like, because I know
that's
no
the
one's
one
talking
want.
about it. Like with The Pimp a Butterfly, when he dropped This Dick Ain't Free and did an entire video for it, like didn't think that was gonna get that. So yeah, man, like as an artist, I realized you gotta remember too, like you created this thing. So even though there is something that seems like the single, don't sleep on those weird ones, those ones you feel iffy about. No, trust me, like people get it.
There's one song on that project that what is it? Not Good Kid, Mad City. It's on Good Kid, Mad City, and it's towards the bottom. Like I say, I always look towards the bottom, and I try to find like gold mine songs. And it's, hold on, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. And this is the one of the ones like I wish he would have did a video for, but he didn't. Let me see. It's called Real.
Yeah,
I do
real.
I wonder.
Yeah,
that's one of the ones I was like, damn, I wish she would have did a video for that one.
Yeah,
that's one of them gold mine records.
Shoot, Money Trees was a single and it still ain't got a video. So
yeah, well, I don't understand why he didn't do a lot of visuals for that project. That's literally
what got
one of the
even Mad City didn't
dropped.
get a video. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, Poetic Justice got a video. Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe got a video. And then
that pull up drink.
And swimming pools. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. I think sometimes a lot of these, like, it's almost like the industry has a playbook. And especially when you just get signed, because even though Kendrick Lamar made an amazing album, you'll notice they weren't treating him like how he is today. They were making him do all the run-of-the-mill things. Like Drake said, go collaborate with Maroon 5. Like, go do these features and stuff, even though they have nothing to do with this brand.
Yeah, we just want the audience that comes with that, so go do that.
You ever watch the fucking Problems video, right? Could I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so it's too late. On with A$AP Rocky and stuff. Kendrick and A$AP Rocky were wearing the exact same outfit in that video. That's a little Easter egg for y'all to check out, right? And it's because I don't know, there probably was a dressing room behind the scenes. These are the popular looks and stuff, and it is what it is. You play the game, but when you think like the label, then you realize just because you're playing the game don't mean you have to play like everyone else. Like, for example, you'll notice the Weeknd with the anniversary of, I think it was either Starboy or After Hours. Pretty sure it was Starboy. Oh no, it wasn't even that. It was the Beauty Behind the Madness. He dropped an alternate video for Can't Feel My Face. He's been dropping like different versions of music videos. And I don't think artists understand that, bro. Your music is timeless because it's not gonna die.
Yeah.
Whether you love it as much as you did when you first created it, it doesn't matter. Someone has never heard that. Oh, wow, you peaked at around 50,000 views. Bro, there are billions of people in this world.
There's billions of people
there's
that never
more
saw
than
it.
50,000 people in your vicinity, in your city alone, who don't know this thing exists. So remove your emotional attachment or your lack thereof from the equation, and let's talk business right now. You have some product that you haven't given your all to. Like, you don't have to make one music video at all. You could, but there are so many ways to expand on the things that you create, especially, and I'll say this, especially when it's proven to work, because that's an important lesson. Like, a lot of people pump money behind what they believe in before it's been tested. They're like, this is the one. I know this is the one. So before I even ask anyone else, I'm going to drop ad money on this. I'm going to do all these things for it. But it's like, the world will respond and show you like,
that
I
ain't
don't
the
know
one.
if that's the one. But then the thing you just put out there and put barely any effort into that everyone's running with now instead of you, now you know to throw money behind it, because that's all a label is doing. They're waiting for you to pick up some steam, and then they throw money behind it, because it's hard to start a fire from scratch, but it's easy to make that fire spread much bigger once it's already started. And so that's how I see it. Like, if something worked for you in the past, even while you're figuring out something new, keep pouring water on that tree that's already growing for you in the meantime, so it could provide some shade. And so Kendrick could still make videos if he wanted to for those albums. He probably won't, but that's how I think as an artist. I'm going to do it forever. And then when I get old and I look wrinkly, I will become a cartoon and immortalize myself.
Yeah.
This is all in the books.
Running it a whole nother way, There's a group on Gorillas. They did videos cartoon style.
Love Gorillas. Yeah. Shout out to T again. He put me on the Gorillas.
Yeah, Gorillas. That's one of them.
Exactly, a cartoon. And no, man, they Gorillas is great. And even Daft Punk, like, you don't know who's underneath that helmet.
Yeah.
So anyone could put on the helmet.
That's facts.
And the music then lives on, man. Like you going back to Igor, my favorite thing about Igor, or let's look at 24 Karat Magic with Bruno Mars. Let's look at what The Weeknd did with After Hours, when he had the Blinding Lights era and all that stuff, right? They create an entire character, an entire aesthetic, an entire world to go along with the music, because you're giving strength to the product. You're giving a moment, a memory to the product. So when you say Igor, I don't just think of the sound. I think of Tyler in the blonde coconut head wig with the blue suit on and everything.
Dancing.
That's Brandon. When you think of 24 Karat Magic, I see Bruno Mars with the shades on, with the 24K hat and everything like that. And all of that, I love that stuff. And I think the best person of all time to ever do that in this entire industry was Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that seems like a cliche. It seems obvious, but a lot of people don't think about that. Like, you know what it is that you just got to do certain movements with your body. People already know, like, who you're emulating, to the point where there are guys who make a living off of imitating this guy, acting like who he was, whether it's the kid one with the fro, the peak one with the jerry curl, or the white one with the perm. Like, I find that that's so amazing, the art of creating a character to go along with the brand. Yeah.
I was in Orlando, and I was at this restaurant, dope restaurant. They had a lot of paintings on the wall, and they do live performances while you're sitting down eating. So we're just sitting down eating, and then out of nowhere, Michael Jackson just walks in, and he's doing the whole movements. I'm like, nah, that's wild. He's dancing because it's like different sections of the restaurant. So he's dancing through the whole restaurant. And then he comes back out a different version of Michael Jackson. And he's dancing and doing the Thriller and all that. You gotta
tell me what this restaurant was. I'm
gonna get the name for you.
I'm a Michael Jackson stan.
It's in Orlando, and
make my day.
It just shine light on what you just said, because it's just like, no, he really did create different versions of himself. You know what I mean? That movie, the biopic, is like infamous. Like when watching the journey through the whole thing, or finding out his story, like how he is in the studio. And I think I don't know which song, but it was like he sung it so hard and did like motions while he sings in the studio that he came out drenched in sweat because he was just going so hard.
Yeah, I think that may have been Jam.
Might have been.
Yeah, but no, man, like, and that's another thing I liked about Michael's brand too, is that, and I try to apply it as best I can when I'm in the studio, whatever the song is you're singing, whatever emotion that song is supposed to convey, while you're recording that, because this recording is gonna last, commit fully. Commit fully. If you're angry, be angry. If you're sad, be sad. Like, if you're emotionless, be emotionless, but with intention, you know? Like, now for some people, they could get away with it. 21 Savage ain't trying to be Michael Jackson. He ain't trying to be the biggest vocalist in the world, or depending on what his goal is. So the deadpan thing, that's the aesthetic I like with 21 Savage. Like, he sounds emotionless when he raps, but that is his thing. Whereas someone like, going back to Kendrick, like, what is it, the braids? Like, freaking out. Like, those things add, you feel that because it's human. And Michael Jackson, those little extra sounds and stuff, people resonate with it because you could tell that he felt it. He was the music. And so that's how I think all artists need to think of that. Like, when you are making that song, like, if you could never record it again and this was the only time you'd ever be able to record it, what would you put into it? How should this song really, really sound? Because you're telling me, like, for these female R&B singers or anyone, you're telling me this guy broke your heart, but I'm not hearing your voice cracking. I'm not hearing you attempt to really take it there. Because who cares if you can't sing tomorrow? You in the studio now, like, let us get this part, and then you take your break tomorrow and recover your voice, but go there. Like, it, and that's a lesson I learned from Michael Jackson as well. I think it's hard to brand yourself that perfectly is very difficult and also very dangerous. For example, Kanye West, he rebrands himself with every album as well. So I'm sure you've seen images where they show the different eras of Kanye, starting from College Dropout all the way, and you could see how there's a color scheme, there's an outfit that matches, and it's all intentional. There's a world, there's an aesthetic, but it's hard because look at someone like Chris Brown, right? Chris Brown is clearly a very talented artist, clearly an exceptional dancer, but at the same time, when we think of moves, like if someone says, do the Michael Jackson, you're gonna see
you're gonna do
very specific moves that Michael Jackson did, even though he could do an assortment of dance moves. There are very specific moves that are attached to his brand. Chris Brown makes amazing music videos as well, but yet it's very hard now in this day and age to get something that has the impact of a Billie Jean, a Beat It, a Thriller, and stuff like that. That's a tricky thing to figure out. And in terms of this image, how much of yourself are you willing to sacrifice to get there? Because I think about that too. Everyone want to be as big as Michael Jackson, but look at what it costs him. Costs a lot.
It took his childhood.
It costs a lot.
It's a lot of sacrifice that going into it.
It's a big thing to say you want to be one of the best in the world. Like, and as I said that starting this off, like, I try to keep that in mind. Who you are as a person, that character, you really gotta lock in with that and commit to that, because as you rise, every single vice, every single negative opportunity or negative influence will be around you, and it's gonna be easy and it's gonna feel easy, and before you know it, you lose yourself, and it's hard to go back. It's hard to be comfortable with those decisions. And so yeah, man, for anyone else that's trying to be one of the biggest in the world, keep it in mind. And when I do it, I'll let you know how it goes, you know.
That's what's up. So tell me, like, what's some of the things, like, in your experience, in your process, your journey, right, that you would say, like, you came to a point where it was a hurdle for you, like something that was difficult in your process of creativity and things like that?
Mm, I'd say being from the Bahamas, and it's unfortunate, but when you live on a tiny island, the resources and the opportunities are extremely limited. A lot of people do and will not make it from the Bahamas, being a music artist, being an entertainer in general, and that's just a fact. And I know I've seen more than enough interviews with American artists and stuff who come from very obscure states where the resources are limited, but not to downplay your struggle because it's real, but bro, sis, you could literally drive to a better state and you'll be good. Like you could save up and catch a flight for a weekend to another state and you'll be where the industry is. And I can't do that, like, cause I ain't got like there's hurdles to a visa. There's hurdles to a work visa and stuff like that. And I don't live here. So it's a different kind of thing when you're in a small island that's still developing too. So there are so many things that are normal to y'all that are very new to us. I have a chance every time I'm in my country to be a pioneer. Everything I do is new. Everything I do is the first time. Like, you listen to my album, trust me, listen to any of my music. No Bahamian artist has a song like Souvenir. Like, that's just a fact. Like, there are certain things I've done that no one's done before. And it's not because I am particularly special. I work hard, but it's more so because we just haven't had the resources and an actual industry. Like, here, for better or for worse, realistically speaking, when you're here in America, you have someone that's like, okay, I don't want to be the artist, but I'm a hustler. I want to be a manager. I'm connected. I want to be a booking agent. I want to be an A&R because I love listening to the music and connecting people, like things like that. In the Bahamas, we don't have a lot of that because how am I going to get paid? How am I going to feed my family? How am I going to pay my bills if I focus on this industry that doesn't exist? So everyone does their 9 to 5 or however long they work. And if they have time, they then focus on the music. So for me, the constant struggle has been respecting the fact that it's a very hard task to succeed where I'm from, but at the same time, we bring international artists to our country too. So like, for example, JT, she just performed the other weekend, and then Migos has performed there, Dirk, Doja Cat performed recently, Lizzo performed, like, so, you know, big artists come there, but when I see how Bahamians fill up those rooms, it shows me that the issue is not, it's not like there isn't a market, tickets are selling and stuff, is how do you convince them to actually want to support their own? And just like in America, you know, that's hard. Like, you gotta leave your state, blow up outside of your state and come back. So I guess that's part of the reason I'm here. That's been creatively speaking, that's been the biggest struggle. But on the other side, and lastly, to answer that question, is it's also been the most important blessing, because since it's been so difficult, it forced me. It's the reason I could make so many genres. It's the reason someone could tell me to spit some bars and I'll always be ready. It's the reason I could write a song. I could write song after song after song. I could record, like, give me a 2-hour studio session. I could give you an EP. I could give you an album. Like, it's the reason, because it's so hard that I had to go hard. You feel me? Like, I had to be, because I already knew I wanted to be one of the best in the world. But when you're in a country where even when you're good, people just stare at you like, while you're performing, Bahamians give you nothing. And so because they give you nothing, you constantly think like it wasn't good enough.
Was it good?
But
like,
it was. It actually was. It was good enough a few years ago, but you kept thinking it wasn't. So now you went the extra mile. And now the best part is when you come to America or anywhere where the industry actually is, I'm not gonna lie, like, shout out to all the hustlers, like the real hustlers, people who work, who get it out the mud, who like aren't afraid of work because they know what I'm saying. A lot of people are lazy, and that's not an American thing. That's a general human thing. Most people aren't willing to do the extra steps. So every time you level up in any field, you're at a point where someone quit. You're at that point where they gave up on the dream and decided it's best. And so me, luckily, because I'm from where I'm from, I'm so used to failing. I'm so used to things going wrong. I'm so used to things working out that I shrug that off like it's nothing. I dance that off. When things go wrong, I'm like, whatever, because I'm never going to quit. You can't stop me. And that's why I could tell you I'm going to succeed, because I know I'm never going to quit. And I'm already here sitting across from a like-minded individual. This is an example of a manifestation. Like, I'm sure there's an artist watching this right now. Like, you've had a moment in your room where you pretending to interview yourself.
Yeah.
You're holding the brush in your hand, like you performing at the Grammys and stuff like that. But it's real. It does happen, but you got to go out there and force it to happen. And when you fail at it, remember, if you feel like quitting, a lot of people did. But that person who you believe in, who's your favorite artist, they're the one who, they took it, they may have cried about it, or they may have shrugged it off, but either way, they kept going. And so, yeah, the Bahamas made me strong in that regard.
Shout out to the Bahamas.
I love the place.
I've been to the Bahamas.
Nice. Well,
Beautiful
on a cruise?
place. Yeah, cruise.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful when I went.
I ain't gonna diss him.
Yeah.
Because I know you don't get enough time, but it is a beautiful place, and the people are very, very, very
Very nice. Yeah, real good people. Yeah, I got a couple of friends that's also Bahamian. Yeah,
here in Florida,
I dated a Bahamian too.
Oh boy,
that was my first girl.
How did I go? Yeah,
you live and you learn though. I learned a lot. Hey. She was cool, but things happen. When you date when you're young.
I know. I get it.
I tell people when it comes to dating, it's funny because it's like when you go get a driver's license, right? You gotta go study. You gotta go on the road. You gotta practice. You gotta read the manual and take the sign test and everything. But when it comes to a relationship, you don't study. You don't learn anything. You just dive right in and you're just in a relationship.
It's stupid, bro. It's stupid. Like, hear me out. It's so stupid, especially when you're young, when you're a teenager, because especially young men, we don't grasp the seriousness of it at all compared to girls. Like, girls, honestly, realistically speaking, in their head, they're like, okay, I'm with this guy. Now that I've chosen to give him my mind, my body, my spirit, and my time, he's probably going to be the guy I marry. Yeah. I'm going to have kids with him. I'm going to cook for him, maybe. Like, you're thinking all of that. A guy is thinking, well, I'm in it right now. I don't know if it's going to work out or not. I know there are fun. Other beautiful women around, but I did agree that she is my girlfriend. I am her boyfriend. But now you got to understand, you got a time limit in there before things get really, really serious. And like you said, there's no guide. So like when you're a teenager, you're not asking, hey, so you gonna hit your kids or you gonna like make them stand in the corner?
Like what's your discipline?
Like exactly.
That's
like,
real though.
Yeah,
that's real. Even from the perspective of dating somebody from afar, you go to their house, they come to your house, compared to living together. That's people don't even talk about that. They just, hey, you live here now. And it's like, hey, did you realize that they don't like to clean?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you realize when you was going to their house that it was just never clean? It was just like,
Shannon Sharp said a girl could never take a shit in this house, bro. And that man is like, what, 50? He said he'll never be comfortable living with a woman that uses the bathroom unless she's peeing. He can't do it. She
gotta go to another house.
Leave the house.
No, I guess it's the guest house.
Imagine you live in a mansion and you got like 8 restrooms and you gotta
walk past all of them.
The house because a man is uncomfortable with that kind of thing.
That's hilarious.
But the thing is, like, I used to think about that when I was young, like, because I think about little things like that, like, would I love her even if she takes a shit? Like, no, when I was young, when I was like, I don't know how old I was, but I was really young thinking like that, because like, I'm like, because that's love. That's real love, right? Yeah. But then as you get older, like, and you really do fall in love, you look beyond, like, of course, it's a woman, she's human, and bro, like, there are so many little nuanced things to relationships that you, at this point, at least I don't know about other men, because I know men who will literally, they will lie. They will lie straight through. I'm sure women. That's why I understand where women come from with their guards up and stuff, because there are some men who are trash. Men will lie. They will say, "Oh yeah, I love you. You love me? Yeah, I love you." They don't love that girl. They don't love that girl. Like they got 10 other girls in the phone. But I love you. And women take it to heart though, and and you know there are women doing it to men as well. Yeah. But people take it to heart, and then they get their heart broken. Yeah. And so as of late, I've been trying to be very responsible and honest about that, because I'll put y'all on some game. Especially, I really hope it's some young men listening. You know, maybe you'll find this interview when it's fresh, or you'll find it later in life. You know, but you don't have to lie to a woman to get whatever it is that you want. Whether you want a relationship, whether you want sex, whether you want just companionship, or whether you just want to kiss the girl, you don't actually have to lie and manipulate her in order to do that, because you'd be surprised to know how much women are like, cool, I'm glad we could skip to this step instead of you giving me the runaround. Or, you know, she may say no, and she has the right to say no. But don't waste her time just because you only wanted one specific thing, man. Because these girls, man, they down. They down. They just don't want you. But that's the most important lesson for men. Like, she's so much more angry at you because of the fact that you lied to her than because of what you did. Yeah. Women are stronger than men in that regard. Like, a woman is like, oh, he just cheated. Like, like he's just a little cheater. She's gonna hate it. She might, I don't know, she might rip your jeans. She might leave. She might freak out. She may say some horrible things. But honestly, I don't know about y'all, but a lot of times they stay. They thug it out, because she is not that you cheat. She's more like, but do you love that woman though? Like, yeah, you're a man. Like, you went and you had sex. Like, I know you're a stupid man. Like, but do you love that woman? That's what would hurt her the most. And then plus, I asked you about that woman. I asked you about that woman in that phone, and you told me, just a friend, that's just a friend. And you had me thinking I was crazy, and I wasn't crazy. And women hate when you make them
feel crazy.
Hey, look, y'all are crazy. Y'all just don't like when we make y'all feel crazy, and that's something I understand. I've been peeping.
So where can they find you at?
You can find me everywhere. You type in SHAD space FER, Shad Fer, and I'll be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, AudioMac, YouTube. I try to make sure the music is equally for free and also for pay, and however you consume music. But of course, it's not just music. I act on stage. So if you were to come back to the Bahamas and you go to the Atlantis Resort, they have this stage production called Junkanoo in Paradise. I play the Obeah-man in that. I do stand-up comedy at Joker's Wild at Atlantis from time to time, and then around the country, voice acting, all those kinds of things. People could find me everywhere, and I'm honored just to be across from you doing this, because I have the self-awareness to feel like I'm one of those artists where if you know me now, you're tapped in, because it's like knowing that guy before that big moment, and I'm not right now, because soon it's gonna be like, where can you not find me? Like, for real. So you can find me everywhere. Just type in SHAD space FER, and on Instagram SHAD_FER. You'll find me, Shad Fer.
Okay. Also follow the A2A.podcast. You can find us on all platforms. Hit that notification bell on Shad and on A2A. You get a notification straight to your phone anytime it's a new drop or anything like that, new releases, new music, you know. Also hit the subscribe button, like, share, comment.